Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Zach, and here we talk about overlanding, gear, builds, DIY, all sorts of stuff related to modifying your vehicle or just getting out there adventuring in the outdoors. I try to do a fair amount of gear reviews on the channel, and today we are going to be talking about something that might be slightly, I don't want to say controversial, but I think people sometimes are doubtful of these. And I'm going to be kind of talking a little bit about these Zero Breeze Mark II. So a lot of people really rave about these, and there's other people that are skeptical, and I kind of want to share my experience. So Zero Breeze reached out a while ago. It's taken me some time to kind of put this through the paces, but I want to bring this video to you just to kind of share my experiences. So the Zero Breeze system, basically, I think you can buy it as just the air conditioner, or you can buy the air conditioner with the extra battery. The extra battery is around an 800 to 900 watt hour battery. I'll put the exact number on the screen. But this system is basically designed to cool your vehicle or a small square footage amount. Some people use it for vans. I think you could use it for a rooftop tent. Some could use it for inside their vehicle. Just kind of depends on what use case you want to do here. So I will go through kind of a top-down camera, sort of showcase some of the features on the actual system or product, just kind of show you some of those things. But first I'm going to do kind of a test where I'm testing it at really hot temperatures, and I'm kind of going to go on full blast mode, which is called their rocket mode. And then the second is going to be, making sure the battery's topped off completely and running it in a more conservative fashion to just see if we can cool down and keep a space cool. So I actually tested this in the Land Cruiser because I think it could be really cool to use this in tandem with the sliding windows. So the Land Cruiser has these sliding windows very similar to like an RV or an off-road camper. And I wanted to see if it could work with one of these because it seems like a nice way to integrate this system. So first, I'll kind of talk about the product itself at the top down, then I'll show you my tests, and then I'll kind of share to you some future directions and things I think that are good about this product. So let's jump right in. So I'm kind of unboxing this in reverse, but we've got the little hose for pointing this system right here. And this is the connection that goes on the actual device. And then we've got the wall charger power system, and we've got a couple little manuals that come with it. So we've got the manual for the unit itself, and we've got the manual for the smart battery. One thing that's a little bit annoying is that this isn't a universal power plug. At least I'm used to the standard like AC wall plugs. Maybe this is a standard DC plug, but either way, I guess you can just use their included cables. But if you wanted to interface this system with like a different type of battery like Blue Eddy or EcoFlow, it will just be a little bit more challenging. You might have to make your own cable. On top of all of this comes with a little remote, which allows you to run it. Maybe if you set your unit outside your tent or something, that could be of value. Now I'm going to kind of show you some of the other things here. So this unit is not large, but it's not small. It's kind of a in-between size. Right here, I've got this cardboard that I made. This is covering a hole. So let me just pull this out of the cardboard. What I did was I made a cardboard cutout here that allowed for the air intake and the air exhaust. But a lot of people recommend you just place the air intake in your cold air space and then only exhaust the hot air. And that allows it to run a little bit more efficiently. Sorry, unit got a little dusty when I was working in the garage the other day. Most of the controls for this unit are on the top right up here. And then the hose plugs into the back, and we've got this sort of accordion style hose attachment. Let me flip this around. So most of the connections are on the back side here. We've got these two hoses, which you can disconnect just like this. And then we have this connection for your drain hose, which is a rubberized fitting. And then this is the jumper cable between the actual unit and the battery. So I'm going to quick unplug this from the actual unit so I can kind of show you how this works. So you press this down and it allows you to slide it forward and disconnect it from the battery. Battery is pretty small and pretty light, which is nice. So this is kind of what the battery looks like. On the front here, you've got a couple different connections. When you press the power button, there's 5 blue status lights right up here that show you what's kind of going on. So I'm just gonna disconnect this cable from this really quick here. So this AC cable you can use to charge your battery or run the AC unit directly. As you can see now, probably on the screen, right here, it'll start to blink blue. And this is just to show that it's starting to charge. And as it charges more and more lights will, you know, illuminate here to show it's charging towards 100%. And yeah, so those are the connections up front. All right, if we disconnect this from our AC port, set this aside, we can just plug this power cable directly into the unit, like so. Everything will power up. So now you can click power. Right now it's on rocket mode. All right, so you can see, kind of hear it running. This is the rocket mode I was talking about. If we just turn it, this just goes to cooling mode, and then you can click these plus and minus levels to change the level of fan. The really loud noise you're hearing is actually the intake on the back and the exhaust. Up front here, you can see that it shows the temperature at the output from the AC unit. The garage is fairly cold right now when I'm actually filming. And then this in the back is kind of like a status light. So when you are kind of letting it charge up and start outputting, this will turn from red to blue. I think the last feature here is just like some sort of timer mode or something. I'm not quite sure. This is the light. And then there's fan mode if you don't want to use AC, if you just want it to blow in air from outside. So those are the features. Personally, I really feel like this is a sweet unit without the battery. I think I would just buy this unit without the battery. If you're someone who camps at campgrounds, because you'll save the money on the battery and still have this pretty sweet system. But yeah, they do have the battery. It integrates nicely. It all fits as one package, so it's definitely nice. But yeah, as far as just running it off of the power grid, like any normal AC unit, I really like this as just like a portable system that you can use for camping. So that's kind of a, you know, little bit of a showcasing of its features. Let's jump out to the vehicle and let's talk about actually using this in your rig. Okay, so I've got the hose right connected to the back, and then I've got the wire, the jumper wire connected to the back. That's running to this container. It's gonna drip very slowly, but I think that should work okay. So we wanna just see how much condensation builds up over time. That's gonna be a function of the humidity, I presume. Right now in the Land Cruiser, it's 94 degrees and 36% humidity in the driveway. So we're gonna close it up. We're gonna run this thing for as long as it'll run and see how cold we can get the inside to be. So it's a very loose mock-up right now, but I'd like to create a window insert for this so that inside the cabin can have AC while you sleep at night. All right, so the battery should be basically full charged since we've got all 5 lights there. It is turned on, so let's turn the unit on. Click there, and then front says 84 degrees right now. All right, so we're in the Land Cruiser here. We've got the AC on, and we've got it turned all the way up here using that plus button. And turn the fan up as high as we can go. AC. All right. Now hopefully it starts blowing some cold air. Okay, so I pressed the rocket mode, which basically turns it to full blast. It's now gotten down to 71 degrees. I'm gonna close up the vehicle and we're gonna see how this changes. We've got 4 lights down here, so I think my battery wasn't fully charged. It was probably closer to 80%, so let's see how this thing does. All right, so it's cooled down to 75 in here, but it's also gotten cooler at night. This has said 55 degrees on here for the longest time, and we've got a blinking 1 dot left, so I presume we're on like 10%. It's been running on full blast for about 3 hours now, and you know, it had like maybe 80 to 90% battery left, so not too bad, but we'll have to see kind of when it actually runs out and stops running. All right, so I've aired out the vehicle a little bit, but it's pretty hot. Right now it's 86 degrees, around 60% humidity. We're just gonna let this sit inside of the vehicle, and we've got it all rigged up here to try and intake from the inside of the vehicle. And you can see all 5 blue lights are on. So we're gonna come up here, we're gonna turn this on, we're gonna turn off rocket ship just to cooling, and then fan speed here. We're gonna turn it up to just cooling, and then maximum speed. And hopefully we can get some decent time out of this. So that's what we're gonna do. Show you here. We've got the exhaust blowing out the side of the Land Cruiser here. And then we wander over here to the back. We've got our intake in here. This is the left hose. And now once this turns blue, that means it's kind of been charged up and starting to cool. And then we've got a drain here kind of dangling into this container. It's really jerry-rigged, but it's a hot day here in Minnesota. We're gonna test this out and see how it does. So I will keep you posted after I run it for a while. So I ran it on the rocket launcher mode, and it didn't last as long, so I'm gonna see if this will maximize sort of the battery that comes with it. All right, let's keep it going. So this is already starting to blow cold air. It's set at, you know, it was like 74, but it's already at 67. So it's gonna start cooling, and we'll come back to the vehicle in a few hours and see what the temperature is on our little thermometer. All right, well, we're coming out here to do a checkup. 75.5 degrees. Humidity's about the same. You can see here our battery has died, so didn't last extremely long, but we were also running it on full blast in a 90-degree day, and it seems to have dropped the temperature and maintained it at least 10 degrees cooler, so I'd call that an improvement. All right, well, those were the tests, and I kind of want to give some sort of future directions or just things to think about after running this. So the time duration to which both of these lasted was on the order of like 5 to 8 hours. So not super long, and probably not something you were expecting to be kind of effective for this price point. And I want to add some kind of clarifying statements here. So the thing that I think is useful to state here is air conditioners in general draw a lot of power, and large units will draw more power. So Zero Breeze is trying to strike a balance here. I think the best use case scenario here would probably be to run this air conditioning system off of an even larger battery, or buy a few of the batteries from Zero Breeze. One thing I have also heard is this system works really well if you use the attachment hose on the output. So, you know, run it on a really low setting and have it pipe into a sleeping bag, or have it just blow on your face. And so it will keep you cool, but doesn't necessarily need to cool down your entire space that you're in. The other option here I think would be really cool is like if you have a really large battery bank system in an off-road trailer, or if you're at a campsite, you could run this system off of just AC power on the grid. And it's a really nice little compact system to have air conditioning. And there are a fair number of options around northern Minnesota where you have electric hookups and a gravel parking space, and that's about it. And so if you do have electric available to you, it might be a great way to get out and camp in the summer, because you'll have a system like this to either cool off your tent or cool off, you know, sleeping inside of your vehicle. So I don't necessarily think it's a bad product. I just want to kind of give the clarifying statements that it seems to not run for a super long time off of battery power. And I was trying to run this in temperatures where I'd really want it to cool down. So both these times the temperatures were around 90 degrees, and it was able to cool down the vehicle to a way more comfortable temperature, but it did so by using a lot of the battery. So these are just kind of the things I'm learning about how to use this system, and I don't know if necessarily buying the air conditioner and the battery alone and just expecting it to last forever off-grid is really realistic. But if you have a way to recharge this battery every day, or if you have a way of using a different battery system or power system with this air conditioning unit, I think it's a plausible system, and it's a way to really be able to still get out there and adventure in hot temperatures. Because I don't know if you're like me, but I don't camp a ton in the summers because I get really hot and it's just not as comfortable for me. So a product like this, if I can figure out a way to finagle it so it is able to cool down my sleeping arrangement, would be super helpful. So hopefully this test was helpful for you, and you can kind of take some of the lessons I've learned and you can implement it in your setup. So thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.